Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have here two articles, one that will just insult us intellectually, and the other one is how Netherlands could be directly bombarded by Russia. Why? Because the Netherlands is actively involved in the war in Ukraine. Now, let's read the titles first and then discuss. And I'm going to start with something that unfortunately I have to do because these guys really think that we are baboons, and most of them are baboons. So let me read the first article coming from Ukrinform. And the title reads, Dutch Defense Minister says, no restrictions on Ukraine's use of our F-16s. Here is the evidence, the article right there, and it is from Ukrinform. I will show you so we don't have that issue right there. I was about to hit my face with this garbage. So what's going on? That's the first one. The second one, the second article is from Ukrainska Pravda, and it says, allowing Ukraine to strike targets in Russia with German weapons does not threaten escalations. Scholz decides. Now, let's go to the first article, and then, because the second article is so imbecilic that is ridiculous. All right, well, you know the F-16s can carry nuclear warheads, right? Missiles with nuclear warheads. And Russia said that they will treat that as such. What does that tell you? So if you provide my enemy with weapons that could hit me with nuclear weapons, you are definitely gonna be fucked by me. I will, if I can, I would really real hard and dry. Okay? Or however I find you, or wherever I find you. So Dutch, but the Netherlands are not involved. Not involved. Why? Because they say so. Both articles have to do with one thing. It's not only what you identify as. Ask the other side how they see your actions. So the Dutch says, no restrictions, we're going to allow them. All right? And probably in this article they say, but we're not involved, and that's Ukraine's right to do so. That's half of the truth. The other one is, yeah, with your weapons. All right. If you remember, it was not only the First World War, the Second World War. The country that supplied my enemy with weapons was my enemy already. That's by definition. Remember the sinking of Lusitania in the First World War? What was it carrying? By the U-boats. It's common knowledge now, after 100 years, more than 100 years. Dutch Defense Minister Kajsa Ollongren has said there are no restrictions on Ukraine's use of F-16s that the Netherlands intends to donate to Ukraine. Dutch Defense Minister has reassured Kiev that the 24 F-16 fighter jets that the Netherlands intends to donate to Ukraine may be used to strike targets inside Russia. So what do you think the Russians should do? Oh, they warn again. That's an escalation. Aren't you sick of that already? I am. A report says. All right, so let's see. Ollongren said the Netherlands would not impose a limitation on Ukraine's use of the jets, as was the case of Belgium. According to her, as long as Ukraine complies with Article 51 of the UN Charter and international humanitarian law, military equipment supplied by the Netherlands can be used to achieve military goals. That's it, I'm covered. Whew, now I can suck one. Basically, skaya, skabalaya. So she thinks that she protected you, my Dutch friends. I wonder what Mr. Wilders says. Geert Wilders. Anyway, we are applying the same principle. This is the justification of this garbage, and I'm quoting. We are applying the same principle that we have applied to every other delivery of capabilities, which is once we hand it over to Ukraine, it's there to use. We only ask them to comply with international law and the right of self-defense as stated by the UN Charter, which means they use it to target the military goals they need to target in self-defense, Olong Green said. Well, let me tell you this. You are with your girlfriend, let's say, and someone comes and says to you, your girlfriend is ugly. And he says, no offense, your girlfriend is ugly. Now, and he said, don't do anything, don't retaliate, because, shouldn't he take into consideration what you feel about his statements? First, let's give you another example, which is with the next article with the Scholz imbecile. Let's say it's a criminal, a rapist, and he goes and attacks a victim. And he said, well, I'm just providing you with some loving, baby doll. Shouldn't we take into consideration how she, the victim, feels about that or not? Who is important here? The victim's view on what occurs to her or to the perpetrators? So is it the Netherlands and the Germans who are, hey, we provide them, you should not do anything because we say so? Or you should ask the Russians, hey, do you think it's going to be an escalation? Or are you going to bombard us? No, you can't, says the Dutch. And now the German. Let's move on to the imbecile, Scholz. Allowing Ukraine to strike targets in Russia with German weapons does not threaten escalation. You see his half of the dome. Anyway, empty dome. So he decided that allowing Ukraine to use my weapons to kill his people, their people, they decided does not, is not should not, does not. That's a statement right there. Does not. It's not might not, should not, could not. No. Certainly. Scholz think, well, let's ask the Russians what they think. Wouldn't you ask them before you make that decision? Well, they don't care. What does that tell you? They will pay with you as collateral. Why? Because the Russians will decide at one point to strike back and will strike you. Netherlands needs one missile and the Germans just a threat. That's all the Germans need. Why? Because the Germans lost their balls in 1945. No, they didn't lose. They were snipped. And they were buried very, very deep somewhere. And unless Germany recovers those balls and reattach them to their gear, all right, they will be a pussy. Anyway, and I'm quoting, we are convinced that this will not lead to an escalation because, I'm all ears. As the US president has also said, is that what you use for justification, my God, to support your claim? As US president, it is only a matter of being able to defend a major city like Kharkiv, for example. Do you think they will stop only with that? So let's say the Russians are attacking Kharkiv from Moscow. Let's say. Or let's say they take off from, I don't know, somewhere. Will they hit that target? Yeah, because it's self-defense. My friends, ask the other ones how they view your garbage. Now, the Netherlands were very active about these kind of things. And if you look at the Netherlands as a country, it needs only one thing. And you don't even have to hit. You just have to make a big wave. And that big wave close to their land, you're going to just go over the levees and just going to get all the country under about, 10, 20 feet of water. I don't want that to happen, but they don't have to hit. The Russians don't have to be very precise. The same thing with Great Britain. They don't have to be. Not at all. Versus the Germans, man, wake up, my Deutsche Freunds. Wake up. You have, I think, some traitors, elected and unelected, and they are not working for you. Economically, militarily, as a nation, nation now, eine Nation! You will not end well again. But maybe from this, you would become what you were before. I know, like a Prussian, I was about to say Austrian. Well, my friends, here it is. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Russia will hit these guys at one point, and as of now, I am personally sick of all these threats coming from Russia. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. When? Probably the things are not that desperate in Russia, and they seem not to be that desperate, but that's the danger of becoming that way. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.